Clicking live, clicking live,
Clicking live.
clicking live.
Clicking live with the squeaky flow will knock you down like a domino. In rehab, they taught
Clicking
us
live,
how to sew. Now we're making sweaters
clicking
like
live,
seasoned pros. What?
clicking live.
Okay.
We're
I
already
thought we were
live,
going.
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
Oh, okay.
already live. We got Lil John here. Lil John in the house. You supposed to say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, what's this here?
What?
Mr. Again 608 says, Sup, Dave Wood, Dawood and AP just bought myself an annual Arts a Box for the cool stuff and the cool opportunity to help those communities. Keep it up.
Very, very based. Very based move.
Have you posted about Arts a Boxes yet? Are you gonna
No.
put that in your put that in a video? You
Nope.
said we'd help these peoples. You said we would help the childrens.
It's kind of funny. I introduced it, but you did it before I did it.
Yeah, I know. Your great benefit to the world is you make people sick of waiting. So they just do stuff. The weird part is you kind of look like a dork, but you kind of look cool. It's weird. I don't know.
I know, man.
Because like Lil Jon, when he has his hat on like that, it looks kind of like a dork, but he looks kind of cool. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so hey, have you heard about how Islam is here to civilize us?
Yo, of course I heard of it, man. Of course I heard of it. And today I'm all ready to learn how to wipe my butt. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, man.
That's what we're all here for. So, guys, I shared a clip a few days ago on Twitter of a Muslim in Dearborn, and I didn't see it then because I saw it on a little Twitter video. So I wasn't really paying attention. I was listening to him, but then when I went to get the clip, pull up that clip for this live stream, I noticed he was speaking to a room full of kids. He's speaking to a room full of the childrens. And he's telling them not to take the technology and so on that they see among Westerners as too impressive. We need to be civilized, and Muslims are here to civilize us. So this is a Muslim speaker in Dearborn, Michigan, speaking to the youth of Dearborn, Michigan, my home away from home, telling them, you are here to civilize these disgusting Westerners. This is going to be good stuff. Probably watch this.
It's in the Quran, man. It says, "O you who have believed, do not wipe your butts with toilet paper. Do it the Muslim way."
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says in the Quran.
That's in there. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. Let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
And you start fixating yourself on the American culture, the Western culture. You see, the shaitan tricks you with all this advancement in technology. Yet, they still haven't figured out that when you go to the bathroom, they're still wiping themselves with paper. All this advancement, think about how advanced they've become. They're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to take over Saturn. We're trying
to take over Saturn. I thought on Star Trek.
That doesn't even work, man. How do you take over Saturn?
They're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to go to Saturn, and they're wiping themselves with paper. Let me back
They're
up a little
eating
bit.
the planets. They're eating the Mars. They're eating the Saturn.
They're eating the rings. The Saturn. I was about to say a different planet, but that would have been bad. Anyway.
They're trying to take over Saturn. They're trying to do all this stuff. Their cars are trying to be self-driven. Yet when they go to do the most lowest form of human nature, the call of nature, they're still wiping themselves and cleaning themselves.
Just look at who's here. It's a bunch of kids. I'm talking like 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. And guys, do you see the partition on the left of the screen, there's a partition, there's a divider, and he's looking over on the other side of the screen. What's that mean? You got all the girls on the other side, right? They keep the boys and the girls separate, but the speaker gets to speak to both sides. So he's also telling the young girls of Dearborn, Michigan, how Islam is here to civilize us because we do not know the proper Islamic way of cleaning ourselves. So let me back up a little bit.
They want to go and civilize Uranus.
We're here to civilize Uranus. That's right. Here we go.
Human nature, the call of nature, they are still wiping themselves and cleaning themselves.
Peeper.
They're uncivilized. Do not be tricked and deceived by their technology. Do not be tricked and deceived by their philosophies and their westernizations and their ideas. At the end of the day, they are still backwards.
We're backwards.
Allah has sent us to these nations to civilize them. That's why Allah has sent us, to civilize these people. Yet the media makes us look like the barbaric ones. The reason...
Yeah, it's the media that makes you guys look like the barbaric ones. It's the media that does that, not you and your actions. Not you sitting around, well, they don't know that you're supposed to wipe with an odd number of stones. It's the media that bends over backwards to praise you no matter what and shields you from all criticism. They're the ones who are making you look bad.
Just think about that for a second. Just meditate on that a little bit. Yes, we Muslims, we ruin every country that we live in. We have civil wars and infighting all the time. The GDPs suck. No contributions to science, no contributions to human development, no contributions to medicine, no contributions to this and that. We want to go and flee to the West whenever we have the chance to. But we wipe our butts not with toilet paper, therefore we are more civilized.
Yes, we use the stones. The stones. This is hilarious. What a hilarious religion. Let's see. Maybe he's got something else.
They don't want you to be successful is because they're jealous of what you have. The Christians.
Did you hear that? Hey, he said we're jealous.
Yeah,
Let me
so
go
jealous,
back.
man.
We're jealous of the Muslims. They're here to civilize us, and we recognize how civilized they are. And so we're all jealous of them.
The Western people, they just want to be like the Muslims.
That's why Allah has sent us to civilize these people. Yet the media makes us look like the barbaric ones. The reason they don't want you to be successful is because they're jealous of what you have.
Who's this bozo?
The Christians, jealous of what you have. Their nations, their religions are dying. So what they had to do, they had to change their religion. You don't believe me? We went to churches, and they're now having the LGBT flags over there. A'udhu billah.
Do you know the name of this
Imagine
guy?
your business, your religion is dying so much that the only thing that you could do is go and get some help from the LGBT. That's
weird. I responded to this when I think Tristan Tate brought it up, and I showed many LGBTQ mosques around the world. Not so much in Muslim nations, but in Western nations.
I think I know who this guy is. I think I've seen this guy online. Isn't this the guy, what's his name? Way of Life-esque or something like that.
I don't know.
He's on YouTube and Instagram and stuff.
Isn't it amazing? Because I mean, think about this. If this were a Jewish speaker speaking to a bunch of young Jews in a Jewish neighborhood in the United States, they would be using this every day to show how evil the Jews are.
Yeah.
And yet it's these guys. We're here
They would
to
be using
civilize
that
them.
video. They would be using that video saying, look, they're openly admitting that they want to subjugate and take over everyone. And they want to use us as animals and slaves. But when Muslims do it, it's like, yeah, totally, man. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, last few seconds here.
the condition you've become in. Because their religion is dying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us into the nations to guide these people from the darkness into the light.
Religions are dying. Have you heard of the avalanche of apostasy, my good man? This was several years ago when the statistic came out that 24% of Muslim youth are leaving Islam. Have you looked at what's going on in the birthplace of Islam, Saudi Arabia? Have you looked as they have Iggy Azalea twerking on stage, screaming, "Worship the goddess"? You not seen this? This is your religion? Why? Why is your religion dying so much that you need to bring in Iggy Azalea to get attention to your country? Why is that? Isn't that weird?
This is, by the way. So I just confirmed that this is the guy. He's his name is Way of Life Esque. I don't know what he's actually called. It might be his birth name as well. But he. The entire thing that he says there, the entire speech that he gives, the entire concept of, oh yeah, we're not civilized, they're not civilized, man, we came here to civilize them. He's completely speaking from a Western perspective here. This is not a Muslim perspective. It's not an Islamic perspective. The Quran never ever talks about the mission to go and civilize the world. It never instructs Muslims to civilize others. It never instructs Muslims to show others the way. It commands to tell others that they should convert to Islam or to fight them. It never, however, tells them to go and civilize people. The funny thing is, this entire idea, what he goes for there, Allah sent us to show them the way. This is something that you can find in the Bible. Like it's something that you can find in the Bible when God tells His people that He instructs them to be a light upon the nations and to show others. You don't find such a thing in the Quran. This is not a Quranic idea. This is not an Islamic idea. This guy is just speaking from a Western perspective and acting like this is Dawah, brothers and sisters. This is a Dawah, brothers and sisters. Equality, human rights. It's Dawah, alhamdulillah.
And it's weird. These guys have simultaneously have a superiority complex and an inferiority complex. They have this, we're better than them, and yet all evidence shows otherwise, and therefore we have to explain why, in spite of appearances, we're still superior to them. And so the questions that are being raised in the minds of lots of young Muslims is, hey, if Islam is so great, why did all your parents flee to Western nations? This actually does bother them. And so you have to explain, no, this is all part of the plan. We're not here because our countries are garbage and we want to get out of there and move to countries that are better. No, we're here because, I mean, my goodness, they're still wiping themselves with paper. We're here to civilize them, and they're jealous of you. They look around going, oh, look at these guys and their prophet wiping with stones. They're so superior to us, and we're all jealous. We're all jealous. Let's read a lot of people don't know. A lot of people have heard that in Islam you wipe with an odd number of stones. People don't know why. I'm just going to read 3 quick hadiths here. Might even come back to these later because I want people to understand this so they can start sharing it. This would be a good time to get these references or even to take screenshots, ladies and gentlemen, just to show people, because Muslims don't understand why this is. So,
Can you tell me how
this
to
is
do it
Sunan
right?
an-Nasai 43. It was narrated from Salama bin Qais that the Messenger of Allah said, when you clean yourselves with stones after defecating, use an odd number. Now you know that you use an odd number of stone. You don't use toilet paper, you imbeciles, you uncivilized morons, you buffoons. No, you clean yourselves with stones, but not just any number of stones. No, it has to be an odd number. So if you can get it all in 1, and do that. If you get in 3, do that. If you need 5, happens. If you need 7, got a little problem. But keep it to an odd number. So in other words, if you're at 3 and 3 is not enough and you go on to 4 and then you're totally clean, do not stop there. Go to 5. You have to. It's part of your religion. But why is that? Check this out. This is Sahih Muslim, 1300. Jabber reported Allah's messenger as saying, odd number of stones are to be used for cleaning the private parts after answering the call of nature. And casting of pebbles at the Jamras is to be done by odd numbers, 7. And the number of circuits between Al-Safa and Marwa is also odd, 7. And the number of circuits around the Kaaba is also odd, 7. Whenever any one of you is required to use stones for cleaning the private parts, he should use odd number of stones, 3, 5, or 7. Notice the obsession with odd. Got to be odd number of doing everything. Odd number of walking around your pagan cube to civilize us, which, ironically, was a black stone was used as a toilet. Anyway, so odd. But why is that? You have it right here. Abu Huraira. It's also Sahih Muslim. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, there are 99 names of Allah. Odd. That's an odd number. He who commits them to memory would get into paradise. Verily, Allah is odd. He is one, and it is an odd number. And He loves odd number.
Allah is pretty odd.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So Allah is odd, and He loves odd number. So why do you wipe with an odd number of stones? Because Allah is odd, and He loves odd numbers. Except 3. Say not 3. So guys, now you all know. This is the reason that when you civilize the rest of the world, you have to teach them to wipe themselves after they go number 2. See, it should be number 3 because it's supposed to be odd number. So let's just switch it and make that number 1.
It's like when you wipe yourself, Allah, and you do it the wrong way. Allah goes, "What are you doing? Are you stupid? I don't like it that way.
Yeah.
I don't like it that way. May use 3 stones."
So guys, what's more likely here? Seriously, serious question. What's more likely here? That Muhammad was a bit obsessive compulsive, and so he had to do things in this, let's say, odd way, or that Allah, which is exactly what Muhammad is saying, Allah is sitting around going, I'm an odd number, 1. Therefore, when they poop, let me make sure they use an odd number of stones so that they wipe themselves with an odd number, odd like me. This is the valuable information that the da'is are supposed to bring to us, to civilize us. This is what we're supposed to look at this and not go, this is completely insane and stupid and idiotic. We're supposed to look at this and go, oh my goodness, now it all makes sense. Allah is 1. 1 is an odd number. Therefore, we need to wipe our butts with an odd number of stones so that our wiping can be more like Allah.
This is how Allah wipes himself too.
Allah uses an odd number of stones to wipe himself because he is odd. How could he use an even number when he's so odd? Alhamdulillah, you see, children, you see your religion is not inferior. They are jealous. They are jealous of Allah's oddness. And they don't know how to poop.
It's called poop oddity.
A space poop oddity.
Man, wild stuff.
If anyone doesn't know what that was a reference to, that was a reference to a David Bowie album, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
A space oddity, and it's now a space poop oddity.
Ground control to great Allah.
Ground control to number 1. Ground control to number 2. We need to use an odd number of stones. We need to make our own. We need to make our own. We make a parody of that and call it a space poop oddity. Oh wow, guys, this is. I don't even know what to do in these situations. All we can do is exposing it, but I mean, keep exposing it, but I mean, think about that. We talk about Gaza and Palestinian children's television and Farfor the Mouse, encouraging all the young people to go out and slaughter Jews and so on. And you say, oh, that's bad in Gaza. Here you are, Dearborn, Michigan, and still telling people, yes, they're all jealous of you. You're superior. We are superior. They're inferior. They're jealous. They don't know how to poop. We have to tell them how to poop and give them the wisdom. Give them the hikmah. The hikmah. They need the hakana hikmah. We have to give them the hakana hikmah to civilize them. And all these kids, oh wow, great points, wow, powerful. And then they're raised to believe this nonsense. Wow.
Hey, can you tell me how to wipe my butt?
Good song. That's a jammy jam.
With hikmah and a halal touch.
AP has got his, he's all geared up. He's all geared up for making music. Let's take a couple super chats, and then we'll look at some of the various ways that our Dawah friends are civilizing us. Torah Worldwide, this money is only to be used to buy AP a new PC. Well, then you shouldn't have sent it to my channel. No, but I will keep this, and I will waste it on candy or something, unless AP sets up a GoFundMe, at which point, if he does, I will instantly transfer those shekels over to the GoFundMe as you have requested. If not, then all deals are off. Medieval Arabian Theosocialism is the antithesis of civilization. Same goes for National Socialism. Oh, yeah, you know what's funny? So you seen your boy Jackson Hinkle? You seen your boy Jackson Hinkle?
Yes.
Declaring war on Muhammad Hijab?
I saw it earlier.
Because they have nothing in common besides hating Jews?
Yes.
And the moment the subject changes to anything else, he instantly starts calling Muhammad Hijab morbidly obese and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have the tweet right here. I can read it if you want.
Yeah. So what did Hijab say? He said something about...
So Muhammad Hijab only tweeted, "May Allah protect the people of Syria."
Well, that's good. All the peoples of Syria.
So Jackson Hinkle then responded with, "You are a morbidly obese Londonistani terrorist supporter. You support Uyghur terrorists in China. Now you support Al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria. Will you keep the same energy when ISIS is beheading kids in Aleppo again?"
That escalated quickly. Hijab said one nice thing in his entire life. This guy declares war on him. This guy dials it up to 10. Hijab probably was like, hey, how can I say something nice for once and not sound like a complete lunatic? Let me say, may God protect people. And this guy instantly dials it up to 10. The only reason I was getting along with you was you were going after Jews, and now you're saying you're talking about Syria? Wrong!
I posted a screenshot of it and just did a laughter emoji, and I see Bosch Fausten responded to my post and said, "Two Hamas whores having rough intercourse."
Very rude, very rude. So in my tweet, I said that the jihadis and the Nazis were basically getting along as long as they were holding hands and screaming death to Israel. But now they can't agree on anything. And then someone said, this guy's not a Nazi. He's a commie. He's a member of the Communist Party.
Nazi.
But now I'm not getting it, because I hear the Nazis. I hear the Nazis saying that Jews are behind communism. And so how can this guy be promoting communism, which I hear from the Nazis who hate Jews, that the commies are run by the Jews? So you've got the commies, and they're complaining about the Jews. You've got the jihadis, they're complaining about the Jews. You've got the Nazis, they're complaining about the Jews. And then I'm looking at this going, the Nazis say the commies are run by the Jews. Therefore, this guy who hates the Jews obviously can't be a commie. He has to be a Nazi because he's not a jihadi. You're falling into one of these camps. I don't know, man. It's confusing. I don't even know what to believe anymore.
He actually started started an American Communist Party, Jackson Hinkle. And but there is of course there is precedence to this in the Second World War. It's quite easy. The communists act like they are totally opposed to the Nazis, but they are just opposed to the Nazis where their own interests are in conflict. The communist Soviet Union during the Second World War, or before the Second World War, leading up to it, didn't have any problems at all with the Nazi anti-Jewish policies. They, in fact, being fully aware of the Nazi atrocities against Jews, made a pact with them, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, where they were secretly agreeing with the Nazis to divide Eastern Europe into Nazi influence and Soviet influence. It's only when the Nazis betrayed the pact and did a surprise invasion, that's when they broke, and the Soviets then attacked and helped defeat them in the Second World War. Otherwise, they were friends. They were friends.
Hey, can we say hats off to the Greeks for delaying that invasion?
Yes.
Guys, you know what happened? I remember this all the way back in high school. So the Nazis planned on breaking their pact with the commies and invading and marching to Moscow and taking it over. So that was the plan. They were going to do it when the weather was nice. And then their good buddy Mussolini and those cute little pizza loving, spaghetti slurping Italians decide to go mess with the Greeks. Say, no problem. No problem. We can go defeat those Greeks. Greeks started kicking the crap out of them. And so the Nazis said, we have to postpone our invasion of the Soviet Union and go help our Italian brethren defeat the Greeks. So they had to actually go down there and deal with the Greeks for a few months. Then they invaded, but it caused a 3-month delay. The Greeks caused a 3-month delay. And the Nazis got within 50 miles of Moscow when the Russian winter hit, and they got buried. And they just got buried in snow. And then they found out you don't want to mess with a bunch of drunk Russians when in 6 feet of snow.
Yes.
And so, guys, keep in mind they got with the Russian winter hitting, they were 50 miles outside of Moscow. If they had invaded 3 months earlier, in other words, if Greece had not kicked the crap out of Italy and caused a delay, things might have, I still think he ultimately would have lost, but it would have been a much, much more difficult battle if the Nazis had taken Moscow.
That would have been very, very, very devastating. Very devastating. The Greeks still kind of were brutally beaten by Italy. However, they did put up a very, very good fight. Very good fight. You don't want to mess with those people. They were just independent for like a century after being ruled by the Ottomans forever, and then Mussolini and the fascists come along and want to subjugate and humiliate them. Yeah, and they said, "No, we don't do that."
Italy went over there and they ran into the Spartans.
Alhamdulillah. That's what they do. But yeah, as said, so really, I mean, does anybody actually think I did not see that coming? That the that the Islamists and the communists, Nazis would suddenly fall out when push comes to shove. They want to unite on hate. They want to unite on hating the Jews, but that's just not a very solid alliance to have. It's not very solid.
Nope, because eventually some other topic will come up, and then they instantly dial it up to 10 because they're all amped up on hate, right? You get used to just blasting in every direction and calling for the death of people and stuff, and then you have a disagreement with the guy marching beside you. What do? It's war! War. Who is this gangster rapper next to the Dizzle?
It's me.
His rap name is Cool Rapper AP. Cool Rapper AP. You can figure out the initials for yourself.
It's actually Lil P.
C-R.
C-R-A-P. Crap. Crap. This is crap. This is crap. It's my homie crap.
Which that's what rap music really is. Someone left the C off of that word. I used to hear that because I was listening to rap before it was cool. I was listening to old school rap. I told you this before. I was living with my uncle one year, and I had an MC Hammer tape. And he walks in. I had an MC Hammer tape in my room, and he walks in. And he grabs the tape, and he looks at it. And he goes, "Mick Hammer? What the hell is Mick Hammer?" Oh boy, West Virginia, ladies and gentlemen, West Virginia.
Can't touch this.
Those young boys look really impressed, smacking my head. Yeah, they do. Oh, he's telling us how we're here to civilize them, and that's why we're here. Please add Take Over Saturn to your soundboard. They're trying to take over Saturn. They're trying to conquer Saturn from the Klingons near Uranus. Coming from the people who venerate a child rapist. Yeah, that is. Matter of fact, since we're on that subject, while we're on that subject,
that's pretty racist.
Let's look at a couple of powerful hadiths that are here to civilize the world. Because remember, Islam is here to civilize the world. Notice the chapter heading in Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari. Giving one's young children in marriage is permissible. So he could have actually quoted this to all the children that he was speaking to in that big room. Speaking to the boys, speaking to the girls, could tell the girls about this. Giving one's young children in marriage is permissible. Why? By virtue of the statement of Allah. And for those who have no monthly courses, i.e. they're still immature, no monthly menstrual cycle because they're too young, that's Surah 65, verse 4 of the Quran. And the iddah, it sucks that we don't actually have a normal translation for this because you would instantly understand how sick this is. But lots of people don't because they see the word iddah and they don't know what it is. And the iddah for the girl before puberty is 3 months. The iddah is the waiting period after you've divorced a girl before the next guy can have sex with her. To make sure there's no confusion about any possible pregnancies if something should happen. So what is this? The waiting period before another guy can have sex with a girl after another guy's had sex with her and he got fed up with her and he wants to pass her on to the next guy. The waiting period for the girl before puberty is 3 months in the above verse. It says 3 months because elsewhere in the Quran it says 3 monthly menstrual cycles. So 3 monthly periods is the waiting period. Muhammad was actually asked, what about girls who are too young to have a monthly menstrual cycle? How long do we wait then? And Surah 65 verse 4 answers this question. The waiting period after you've had sex with a girl and you decide to divorce her, before another guy can have sex with this girl before puberty, he has to wait 3 months. This is the information that's here to civilize us. I wonder why the guy didn't share that powerful information with those young children about how he is here to civilize us. Daniel Hakikachu is here to civilize us. Ali Dawah, Muhammad Ijaz, they're here to civilize.
It's the power and beauty of Islam.
And then as an example of having sex with a girl before puberty, we have Sahih al-Bukhari 5133, narrated Aisha that the Prophet wrote the marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and she remained with him for 9 years, i.e. till his death. This is the powerful, powerful information that is here to civilize us, ladies and gentlemen.
Powerful.
And the reason the media are trying to make Islam look bad is because we're all jealous. We're all jealous of this powerful, powerful stuff.
I'm surprised he didn't say to the kids. And kids. And by the way, kids. If you have sisters, just so you know, it's okay to give them away. So if you have sisters, no matter how old they are, just
send them my way. Send them my way. I would be happy to give them private Quran lessons in my pants. We just saw that. We just saw that with the guy who's the head of the Quran Revolution at that Islamic school. And to her credit, it's his wife who found the videos, the child, you know, on his phone, and she called the cops on him. Hats off to her. Hats off to her. Would have been very easy to say, oh, I can't bring shame and embarrassment to this school or to the Muslim community. She's like, oh no, that's not going. I'm calling the cops on this guy.
I haven't looked into that topic at all. I saw some people talk about it. I saw even Sajid Lippam talk about it and so on, but I haven't looked at it at all. What do you know about that topic?
That dude?
Yeah.
That dude, yeah. So that was Yasser. That was the place Yasser Qadi taught at. So this is like in Texas. They've got their Islam school down there, and this guy was giving Quran lessons. So he's this famous Quran teacher. He's taught tens of thousands of students around the world, and he was giving Quran lessons to a mother of a daughter, and he was telling them that, hey, if you, I will send you some sex toys, and you should make videos, you and your daughter, with these sex toys, make videos about this, and this is going to bring you closer to Allah for our Quran lessons. But you have to show me the videos and stuff like this, so I can check your progress. So this lady's making videos of her daughter and sex toys and so on as part of their Quran lessons. And the dude's wife finds the videos on his phone, calls the cops. Hey, I say this to the woman who called the cops. I don't know what your financial situation is in this world, but if that actually hurts you and you don't know how you're going to, pay the rent because he got arrested, let us know. You did the right thing, and we would be happy to help you get through a little
I have
trouble
so
here.
many questions, but I just don't want to ask them.
Because you're jealous of this civilizing impact this guy had with his Quran and his sex toys.
But I didn't know any of these details. But it's one thing for somebody who to privately hide from everybody and do something sick and then be caught with that. I thought that's what this was about. I had no idea about the other aspect.
What?
How does this guy actually convince other people to engage in that kind of stuff? And to record it.
How did Muhammad convince his buddies, hey, I get to take your daughters. Hey, give me your wife. This is what you do, man.
But even that to me, like, would be kind of explicable, for a family to give away their little child to the holy prophet, or as sick as it is, still kind of I understand how they could be so stupid to agree to that. But in this case, to take these instructions from the teacher and to follow them and to go through with them, what's wrong with people?
No, seriously. I mean, this is a guy telling you, hey, get your daughter in some of these videos doing stuff. And just great manipulators. And the real messed up part is, if this guy's been training tens of thousands of people around the world in the Quran, and this is what he uses his status to accomplish, what else did this guy get away with?
But the people...
Just looking for where I posted that, because I posted a link, if I could find it. It might have been too long ago for me to find right now. But oh, wait, is that it? Oh, yeah, there it is. I found that, dude. You can read the complaint here.
Osho was right.
Let's see. So Imam Wissam Sharif, a Quran instructor for the Houston-based Al-Maghrib Institute, And the director of their Quran Revolution Dawah campaign has been charged with producing child pornography after convincing one of his Quran students to send him explicit videos of her and her daughter. He promised them that the sex acts they were filming for him would help them grow closer to Allah. Sharif has taught tens of thousands of students, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, so anyone wants to look that up can look that up. I have a link on my Twitter. This is November 7th, so this is a little while back, almost a month ago. But you can read the entire complaint and what happened. And again, hats off to they took him out of the picture. They took him out of the picture for their Islamic school because Yasser Qadhi's right in the middle of that picture with the dude over there too. So
I'm sorry, but
because you're uncivilized. Sorry.
The families, the people who go along with it and actually do it, I really question your entire purpose and your justification to be alive. What kind of what developed advanced human being actually? I don't get it, man. I don't know.
As our good friend Masab Hassan Yusuf would say, you are not even fit to be a mother. That is correct here. If you as a mother are going to listen to some Quran teacher come along and say, hey, I'm sending you some sex toys for you and your daughter to use together and make videos for me, and you fall for that, you got problems. With that said, he targeted, at least in this case, a lady from a disturbed, problematic background. So
was it only one person? Was it only one family that he actually convinced?
That's what he was charged with in that complaint. What I said was, if that's what this guy does with his students, and he's trained tens of thousands of students around the world, probably not his first rodeo here. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Probably can find some more stuff on this guy. But I mean, seriously, when the idol of your religion is a guy who clearly used his status to give himself endless sexual favors from the daughters of the people around him, what do you expect these guys to do? That's their role model. He's the pattern of conduct. They're here to civilize us. Here to civilize us.
I don't even know who to feel bad for exactly in this case. And I don't know, man. It's moments like these.
You could feel bad. You could feel bad for the daughter because she got a crap deal on her mom, and for the wife who did the right thing. Again, it happened. It's so frequent to say, "Hey, this guy did something messed up, but we need to keep this quiet because it will be a huge embarrassment to the school and so on." She didn't. Nope. Called the cops. That's good. That's what you want to do. Freaking kids are involved. You call the cops, ladies and gentlemen. Should the new administration do regime change in Iran? Your boy Trump doesn't seem like a going in and doing a regime change kind of guy. He seems like putting other kinds of pressures, but
he explicitly rejected it. He said he doesn't want to do any such thing. Which might also be just a strategy, which might also be just something that he says before he's elected to try a different approach. But America going and trying to engage in regime change in a Middle Eastern country is something that is absolutely not popular after the last century. So I'm not sure if I'm really a fan of it or an advocate of it. I think it should be left to the Iranian people themselves.
And that will actually help them moving forward. Think, if there's a regime change and it's because the United States went in there and did a regime change, that the new regime will be the regime installed by the United States and will not be well liked elsewhere in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. Whereas if the people do it themselves, then it's their country and they install someone they want. That's a completely different thing. That was an uprising within the country and not a Western nation going and putting in a puppet government. Now, with that said, if the U.S. can kind of help the people in various ways by putting pressure on something, or if the U.S. just wants to say, hey, Israel, we're not going to go do a regime change, but if you want to bomb these guys every time they look like they're doing something wrong with one of their sites, or anytime they look like they're getting a nuclear weapon or something like that, free pass from us. We're not going to complain. That sort of thing can help destabilize the government a bit and can actually help the people. But ultimately, guys, it has to be the people or it's not going to work. It has to be the people taking over their own country.
But the people
are, well, in that case, the people there are better and smarter than their leaders.
That's true. That's true.
What do you do with the stones when you are done with them? Well, the jinn eat the poop off of them. And then you can reuse them. What do you do with the stones when you're done with them? Do you keep them and just have poopy rocks in your bathroom? What do you do? What are you talking about a bathroom? you pagan talking about a bathroom? Come on. This is out in the little area of the desert.
You put them in a laundry machine and then in the dryer.
You send them to the poop rock washer. They have special high tech industrial rock washing equipment over there. You take your sack of rocks over to the poop stone washer, and he cleans them right up for you, and then you're free to use them again.
Alhamdulillah.
Or do you toss them? And how often would someone else pick up your used stones while looking for new ones? Look, you're asking too many questions because you're jealous of the civilizing effect. Not surprising, since your name is John the Presbyter. So, John the Presbyter, you're jealous of the civilizing impact that Islam has, and you're mocking it. But really, you're asking too many questions. Just wipe with an odd number of stones. Let everyone else solve all the mysteries.
That's what they do. You're supposed to wipe yourself with the stone, put the stones away in some place that is known for pooping outside town, in the desert. And at night, the jinns go to that spot. The jinns go to that spot and they eat the poop. That's what it says in the hadith. I'm not joking.
And this is the powerful information that people need to know. Otherwise, they won't be civilized and they'll be barbarians.
Alhamdulillah. See, the power of Islam.
Allah loves odd number, yet he created earth first, then the heavens. 2 + 2 + 4 = 8 days. Make it make sense. No, it's 2 + 4 + 2, which, yes, your math is correct, does equal 8. But there are other passages that say 6, right? There are other passages that say 6. Now, do the math here. You've got passages that say 6. You've got a passage that says 8. It can't be both. So what do? Average them. Average 6 and 8. What do you get? 7. Oh, you see, this is what happens when you got the hikmah. When you got the hikmah, it does turn out to be 7 because Allah messed up a little. It went up 1 over here, messed up a little, went down 1 over there, average them out to get what the truth is. And the truth is 7. Allah is completely consistent with his rule about odds.
Yeah, sounds right.
Skid marks are proof of being civilized, you see. That is true. Apologies. Do women have to obey this rule, or does it apply only to men? It applies to women, too. Women have to wipe themselves with an odd number.
Yeah.
Did you say the imams are here to civilize us?
That's what I heard, too.
Civilize.
When you said civilize, it sounded like syphilize. I thought, wait a minute.
We're here to civilize them. We have to civilize the children. We are here in the West to civilize the children.
Civilization.
Hidely ho, Dizzle and AP are doing the show. In winter there is snow, and now that I mentioned Mike Winger, I need to go. Mic drop. Yes, you do need to go if you mention Mike Winger, because you're not welcome here.
What was that?
Operation Barbarossa, the perfect movie, not.
Did I watch that movie?
I haven't, so I can't even comment. Happy birthday to me and Andrew Tate. How could someone as based as me share a birthday with someone who's totally unbased? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, sing happy birthday for the next Zakir Naik who just turned 7. Based on his comments.
Oh, that's a 1972 movie. No, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Here we have the rapper.
Rapper.
Islam is wiggity whack and its followers are miggity maps. All I've seen my poor leather straps. Dear God on Momo's biggity back. No idea what kind of weird things you're talking about, but this is more evidence that you're jealous of the civilizing impact of Islam. But the Dawagandists are perverted. Well, we don't know about that. Let's go ahead and watch a clip or two of Dawagandist to see what they have to say about some of these issues. So we've heard that Islam is here. Guys, if you tuned in a little late, I'll probably play it one more time just for people who came in after we played it. But we have a Muslim speaker in Dearborn speaking to the youth. Dozens of boys and girls explaining how Islam is here to civilize us. And let's get an example of Islam's civilizing impact that we need to accept.
If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. The reason why it's haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. If you just read the Quran, it is halal, it would be halal to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. In Surah Al-Talaq, chapter 65, verse 4, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us who you can divorce and who you cannot divorce. And then he says, وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ وَاللَّائِ لَمْ يَحِدْنَ, and the ones who had never been pubescent before. And by the way, this is very important, yeah? I want all Muslims to be aware of this. The reason why we don't have sexual intercourse with 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds or whatever is not because of puberty. Wait a minute, what did you say? It's not because of puberty, because that verse in the Quran actually says lam yahid. They never had puberty before. You can't go around that. The Quran doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that the woman has to be pubescent. I dare you to find one verse in the Quran where it says you're not allowed to marry someone based on harm, or you're not allowed to have sexual intercourse based on harm,
Not there.
or you're not allowed to marry someone based on puberty. So if you're Quran alone, you're allowed to have sexual intercourse with 5-year-olds. Get me one verse in the Quran which says the woman has to be pubescent.
Just
one verse. I want one verse in the Quran from the beginning of the book to the end of the book which says that she has to be pubescent. So okay, so that makes it halal from your perspective. From your perspective, it's halal. You know, in the Quran it says حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ. It says you're not allowed to marry your mum. It says you're not allowed to marry your sister, your auntie. Where does it say you're not allowed to marry a prepubescent? I'm looking for one verse that you can say, you pinpoint it and say this is where it says prepubescent marriage or whatever is not allowed. So if you're Quran alone, you're steered towards pedophilia, and a severe type of pedophilia, a wife abuse, a severe type of wife abuse.
Everyone got that?
Alhamdulillah, very powerful.
Do you feel more? Does everyone feel that after learning that Allah in the Quran has made it halal to have sex with a 5-year-old girl, do you feel more civilized? To be clear, everyone, Muhammad Hijab is not saying it's acceptable to have sex with a 5-year-old. Don't want to misrepresent him. He's saying, according to the Quran, by itself it is. And therefore, you have to go to Muhammad to find out that, no, he waited a little longer, and then the assumption is that he was waiting so as not to harm her. And therefore, but he's very clear, puberty is not the dividing line. It says the Quran makes it clear that puberty is not the requirement. It's whether you're going to harm the girl, And we would think, but if you're having sex with a prepubescent girl, you are harming her. That's not what the Muslim sources talk about. They said when they talk about harming her, they are referring to like squishing her because she's too small and fragile. And if a grown man climbs on top of her, he'll actually crush her. And they're worried about causing fistulas. So making the two holes one hole by tearing her open. That's what they mean by not harming her and so on. So it doesn't matter if she's 5 or 6 or whatever. If she's 5, 6, whatever. As long as you, in your educated, non-medical expertise having mind, you've decided, yeah, I don't think I'm going to rip her open or crush her, then game on. Now, what does our friend Ali Dawah have to say about this? Let's see. We have Ali Dawah, who's actually better than Muhammad Hijab. Ali Dawah, he's completely wrong. He's completely wrong, but he thinks that reaching puberty is when a girl is ready to be married. And even if she reaches puberty when she's 9 or something like that, that means she's ready to be married. And so he'll say this even about his own daughter. Here's the clip.
You asked me, would I allow my daughter to get married at 9? I'm saying the analogy is wrong because our teachers the woman has to be sexually, mentally, and physically ready. That means if my daughter...
Did you see this? She has to be sexually, mentally, and physically ready. Where are you getting it? Where? Where? Who says that? Who says that? A bunch of freaking Dawah clowns say that to throw people off of what their sources actually say. But watch what he says here.
No. If my daughter wants to menstruation... Hold on. Let me finish. If my daughter reached the age of menstruation at 9 years old, I would say you are ready... What's it? You are ready to get married.
If my
You're
daughter...
ready to get married, yeah?
If my daughter reached the age of menstruation at 9, I would tell her, you're ready to be married. You're ready to be married at the age of 9. So we look at that and we go, wow, what a sick dude. Hope that he doesn't actually put his daughter in that position. But what's crazy is, again, he is light years morally superior to some of the other Dawah guys who don't think you need to wait for puberty at all, because as Ali Dawah's buddy Muhammad Hijab says, the Quran rules out puberty as a requirement. The Quran is talking about having sex with a girl before she's reached puberty, getting sick of her, then divorcing her, passing her on to the next guy. How long does that next guy have to wait before he can have sex with that prepubescent girl? Hijab is just being honest and saying, look, if that's the discussion, how long do I have to wait before I can have sex with this prepubescent girl after you had sex with that prepubescent girl? If that's the discussion, puberty is not a requirement. And that's why he was challenging them. Show me one. Show me one verse. Show me one verse in the Quran that says anything about puberty being a requirement. And yet you get to Ali Dawah. If they're talking to... Now, keep in mind, does Ali Dawah actually know this? Of course he does. Of course he does. He's talking to non-Muslims who don't know. He's talking to non-Muslims who don't know. And so he can say, oh, yes, because puberty is the requirement, yeah? And so I was waiting for puberty. Puberty is the sign, yeah? This is the information that is going to civilize us, ladies and gentlemen. This
And once she hits puberty, yeah, then we'll be watching, yeah, and we're proud of that.
And here we have Daniel. It's interesting because when Daniel is talking about signs of maturity, if he is remaining faithful to his Muslim sources, that cannot mean puberty. But Inspiring Philosophy, Mike Jones, interprets him that way. I do not know what Daniel meant when he said signs of maturity. If he's saying, yeah, we wait for puberty, then he's just wrong, according to the Quran and his sources. So I don't think that's what he meant. I don't know what he said because I didn't follow all of it. When this debate, I was at this debate, but I was actually preparing my opening statement because I was doing the debate right after this. What was that?
I do know what he said. What he said is that it's not puberty; it's early signs of maturity, early signs of possible puberty. So once certain parts of the body start shaping early on into maturity, and you can see signs of that, then she's ready to get married.
Because, I mean, from the Muslim sources, it would seem that what if you wanted to call it signs of maturity, what you would mean is signs like that that you're big enough for me to not break you if I climb on top of you, and some sort of signs that you can handle a grown man's private parts without ripping you open. And that's what they would mean by maturity. So if Daniel means something beyond that, then he would once again, like Ali Dawah, would be better than his religion, as creepy as he is. But let's assume he means he's referring to puberty or signs of puberty or something like that. Let's watch what he says.
You mentioned the period comes at the end of puberty. Are you saying someone can marry and have sex with someone prior to getting their period?
So according to Islamic law, when the body is fully formed because of puberty, the period comes at Tanner stage 4, which is the end of puberty. So yes, when there are signs of physical maturity, then it becomes permissible for the husband in Islamic law to have marital relationships or consummate the relation with his bride. And this is the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him, who married 6.
Before the age of menarche, that's what I'm trying to get.
Before the period.
Okay.
Islam.
Do you know what precocious puberty is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is it?
It means starting puberty unusually early, like
Can
beyond
you have,
averages.
Is there anything in
Do you know what precocious puberty is? Yes. What is it? Precocious puberty is my life. It's my favorite thing. Daniel Hakikachu.
It means starting puberty unusually early, like
Can
beyond
you have,
averages.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
No, marriage can happen, you can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that sex is allowed.
Okay.
By the way, does everyone catch this? Because he's doing an excellent job trying to deflect. IP says, hey, what can you do with 5-year-old? Oh yeah, you can marry. Yeah, you can marry at any age and stuff. That doesn't mean you can have sex with them. But IP knows he does mean you can have sex with a 5-year-old as long as you have these signs and so on. So it's cool that IP actually pressed him on it and got him to admit it. But here goes.
5-year-old that started precocious puberty.
Wait, let's
No,
see.
marriage can be early, like
Can
beyond
you have,
averages.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old?
See, he asked about marrying. And so Daniel, you can marry. Yes, marry. Fortunately, IP presses him on it. Watch.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
No, marriage can happen, you can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that
Not
sex
what we're
is
talking
allowed.
about.
Okay, could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated?
Can
if
you
she started
consummate the
precocious
marriage?
puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible, as I stated. That's
What
the
about age
principle.
4?
If there are signs
3.
of... So this is something that becomes biologically impossible because precocious
I have a
puberty,
study
there are
that shows
no...
it goes as early as 11 months.
All right, well, that's something that the parents would not... the thing about Islam...
Did you see what he just said? Parents would not allow that. Have you heard of some of these parents and what they're allowing creepy religious leaders to do to their daughters? Daniel Hakikachu? Let's let this clip finish and then I'll point out the problem.
Marriage is that parents are involved at these ages. And when you look at the marriage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, to Aisha, her parents were involved. And so she was not living with the Prophet, peace be upon him, even though she was married to him. So the parents have oversight, and sometimes a qadi or a judge can have oversight if the guardians are not capable to make sure that the rights and the physical well-being of a child or a minor are not harmed by that marriage.
So just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel is saying, hey, signs of maturity, signs of maturity, signs of maturity. And IP asks, hey, can you marry a 5-year-old? And Daniel says, yeah, you could marry a girl, all kinds of ages and so on. He says, hey, could you consummate the marriage with a 5-year-old? Daniel said, if there are signs of maturity. IP says, what about a 4-year-old? Daniel says, if there are signs of maturity for a 4-year-old, keep in mind. IP says, what about a 3-year-old? And there Daniel says, no, this is biologically impossible. You can't get precocious puberty that young. IP says, no, you can get precocious puberty as young as 11 months old, an 11-month-old baby, not even a toddler, a baby. And Daniel's response is not that it's religiously unacceptable. He says the parents would not allow this. The parents would not allow that. So what's the problem with the idea that you could have sex with an 11-month-old baby, according to Daniel Hikikachu? Well, parents would not allow that sort of thing. Really? What if the mother, what if it's a mother, no father around, it's a mother with an 11-month-old baby, and she's dealing with a Dawah guy who's a professional manipulator, because that's the only requirement for being a Dawah guy, is being a compulsive liar and being a professional manipulator. Again, we've got a dude who was just arrested for convincing a mother to use sex toys with her daughter and to make videos with them. You don't think that these guys can convince someone, hey, your daughter reached precocious puberty at 11 months old. That means she's ready. And if you disagree, you're challenging the wisdom of Allah. You don't have the hikmah. Do you really believe? Do you really believe this? Are you a real Muslim? Maybe you're an apostate. And no, you can never manipulate a mother into doing this sort of thing. Sick stuff. But it's here to civilize us, AP. We are here to be civilized. Let me check. We actually have a lead in. Let's see. We have a lead in here. I already read that. Why are they so quick to call people stupid when you tell them that their prophet is a murderer and a child rapist? I had to quote their own hadith to them. They're just trained to attack whenever anyone criticizes their prophet. So you did the right thing. If you have sources ready for anything you're saying, that helps. AP, are you there writing a song, AP?
Yeah.
Do you want to play your dumb song?
No.
I don't even know if you can play it on my system here from your end. Sunni is slang for penis in my language. Sunni Islam. That's a good description for it. John the Presbyter says the leather straps of the anus now make sense if the whole culture is scraping sharp rocks down their cracks like they're tanning a hide. Yeah, these things could be connected. They could be connected. But he will get her a whiteboard. What's not to like? So he'll get his daughter a whiteboard if she's 9. For those of you who don't know what that's about, let me see if I got the clip here. Ali Dawah. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. If you wanted more enlightenment from the Dawah guys, more of the civilizing effect that they are here to have upon us, here's an example. One of the most popular da'is on the planet, one of the most popular da'is in history, Ali Dawah, showing us how it's done.
I have my wife on my right. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you well, inshallah. She's not going to be in the video, but she's going to have her say with this whiteboard that I bought her. But why is the default that the woman is innocent and the man is always guilty? Okay, that's something my wife wants to say. Salama probably had enough, as women give a lot of chances, has zero tolerance now. Okay, this is why I want you here. Yeah, it's very important for you to be here. Yeah, sisters take the past traumas of their father or ex-husband, etc., and project it on other people. So, okay, she's saying she made the video, not him. I don't know his opinion. Well, exactly, there you go. Okay, there's nothing else I have to say. Anything you'd like to say? If you do, just let me know, inshallah. The Prophet, peace be upon him, told us. He went to the hellfire. Again, I know you guys are going to be like, oh, it's a reality check. Okay. And he saw a majority of the women of the hellfire. Why? He said, not because they are ungrateful to Allah, because they are ungrateful to their husbands. Anything that I said wrong is from shaitan and myself. Anything good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's anything you disagree on, no. Okay. Are you under any duress? You can blink twice. No. Okay, that's fine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from myself and my dear wife. May Allah bless you for your contributions. It's a pleasure and an honor. I have my wife on my right. So
guys, that's most of you do not have your wife communicate using a whiteboard. because you're not civilized. If you were more civilized, if you sat around wearing a tuxedo all day because you were civilized, then how would your wife communicate? You would purchase a whiteboard for her.
What?
A whiteboard from Walmart and say, when you speak using this. You write it out. Same thing you're learning your ABCs from. And what's funny is Dawah is probably like, you see how we is encouraging girls to be educated, yeah? We is encouraging them to learn how to read and write. This is what Islam does. You see? Islam is the foundation for education of women, except Afghanistan, where they can't even go to school anymore, yeah? And we're proud of that. It's a civilizing impact of Islam. I just wanted to, for anyone who came in late, wanted to post what we're responding to in all of this. We'll play this one more time. At least the beginning of this, when he's, this is a Muslim speaker speaking to the youth. So he's a Muslim youth minister preaching to the youth in Dearborn, Michigan. This is in Dearborn, Michigan.
And you start fixating yourself on the American culture, the Western culture. You see, the shaitan tricks you with all this advancement in technology.
I just want to point out again, we've already pointed this out before, but for anyone to come in late, look, he's speaking to boys, speaking to young boys. There's a partition on the left. Why? Because girls are on the other side of that. So he's speaking to young boys and young girls, talking about how they should not be impressed by technology and so on. Westerners are uncivilized, and Muslims, who are superior, are here to civilize us.
Yet, they still haven't figured out that when you go to the bathroom, they're still wiping themselves with paper. All this advancement, think about how advanced they've become. They're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to take over Saturn. They're trying to do all this stuff. Their cars are trying to be self-driven. Yet when they go,
he could have actually been witty right there. He could have actually been witty and said, they're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to take over Saturn, and yet they don't even know how to deal with Uranus. That would have been perfect, right? Wouldn't that have been perfect? They can't come up with these Dawah guys can't come up with witty stuff like that.
I just want to inform this guy here, and also anybody, all other Muslims, it's not possible to take over Saturn. Just so you know, it's not possible. It will never be possible.
It will be possible. What are you talking about, man?
Once you do it with Islam, I guess. Yeah.
Once we take over Mars, then we will take over Saturn.
First we take Mars, then we take Saturn.
Oh, I'm trying to think if this guy is actually saying, I've heard there's a moon of Saturn that would actually be a decent place to land something because it's solid or something like that. Maybe he's talking about that.
all this advancement, think about how advanced they've become. They're trying to go to Mars. They're trying to take over Saturn. They're trying to do all this stuff. Their cars are trying to be self-driven. Yet when they go to do the most lowest form of human nature, the call of nature, they're still wiping themselves and cleaning themselves with paper. They're uncivilized. Do not be tricked and deceived by their technology. Do not be tricked and deceived by their philosophies and their westernizations and their ideas. At the end of the day, they are still backwards. Allah has sent us to these nations to civilize them.
Allah has sent all these Muslims whose parents or grandparents came to the United States to get out of their Islamic countries, their Sharia-compliant hellholes, to come over and civilize us with what? Don't wipe yourselves with paper. Don't wipe yourselves with paper. Instead, wipe yourselves with stones, as Muhammad said. Sunan an-Nasai 43. When you clean yourselves with stones after defecating, use an odd number. That's what you're supposed to do if you're civilized. Don't use this paper that you can flush down the toilet and it dissolves. No, 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 no. Use your stones and keep using them over and over again. This is the powerful civilizing power of Islam. And if you complain about it in the UK, you'll go to prison for it, for complaining.
Very powerful.
That'd be nice. Won't that be nice?
That would be powerful.
That would be very, very, very based. Let me see.
That'd be very powerful.
It would be very powerful and based. And one more clip about how Islam is here to civilize us. The classic one. This is more powerful information that is here to civilize us.
This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah? There's a reason why there's a capital punishment. Because people like you, little weaklings, who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt. And we're proud of that. Yeah? Capital punish will be applied in an Islamic state. Yeah? Not individuals going and doing it themselves like idiots. Yeah? No. Under an emir, it is done. Yes. And we, you know what? We'll be watching. We'll be watching. Because if you're going to cause corruption in the land, that's going to cause more damage to the society as a whole. Because the Sharia didn't come to protect an individual's right. Hey, can I drink alcohol? Yeah, sure. Drink alcohol, run someone over, kill them, set all this kind of chaos. No, Islam says the right of the community is greater than you individual wanting your right to freedom, which is BS. Absolutely BS. Yeah? Don't get me started. So it just backfired on you.
It just backfired on you.
Yeah, so your obsession with rights and so on, dare I say, it's uncivilized, ladies and gentlemen. And if you were civilized, you would hand over all your freedoms and put all your rights under the control of an emir and hope that he won't want to do things with your daughter.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to stop him?
Yeah. So it just backfired on you.
Make a rap song, Gin and Jews, Don't Forget Me. I think I've seen that before. I don't know if I've seen a song, but I've seen people suggesting that before. Rolling down the street. You'd have to change the words.
I just made a song about wiping your butt.
Do you want to play your song? What happens if you try to play it? You've played your sound effects before. Try and play it. See what happens.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's try this out.
Hang on. I can actually click on this. Let's see.
Oh, that's funny.
What?
So I can just do that here.
Oh,
do you hear that?
We got it. We hear it.
Hey, that's funny.
Super loud. Hang on. I can turn it down here.
Yo, Imam, how do I wipe my butt? How do I do it right? Is toilet paper bad? Does Allah hate that? I wanna be civilized. What does Allah want?
So it's the left hand. Well, that's a twist. Guess my right's been living a life of bliss. Add water, you say, like a bathroom spa. Do I need a bucket or just a fatwa? Turn from the Qibla, that's a plot twist too. Now I'm facing the tiles. What else is new? Wash it all clean, leave no trace behind. I'm scrubbing my soul while I scrub my mind. Can you tell me how to wipe my butt with hikmah and rock so I do it right? Is it water I need or a simple touch? Guide me, Imam, to a path of light. What if no water? Stones save the day, but where do I find them? Home Depot, eBay. 3 wipes, you say, not 4, not 2. This feels like a riddle I can't undo. Islamic hygiene, it's an art, no doubt. But the logistics, man, they wear me out. Is there a course I can take online? Cleanliness 101, the prophetic design. Can you tell me how to wipe my butt with hikmah and rock so I do it right? Is it water I need or a simple touch? Guide me, Imam, to a path of light. I'm out here stressing about
what's on the ground, while others are chilling, their solutions sound. But I'll follow the rules, no cutting slack, even if it means carrying rocks in a sack. Imam, you've helped, though it's all quite surreal. Now I'm a pro in this bathroom ordeal. With water and stones, I'm purified, bright, ready to face life with a squeaky clean might.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. You should add a couple of clips along the way as part of the beat, as in the background of that dude saying, "We're here to civilize them. They wipe with paper. They wipe with paper."
This is also kind of like still quite basic. I think the lyrics need some refining.
Yeah, you should just put all your energies into your musical career. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
Gin and Jews. What? Just to check my understanding, Sahih Bukhari 3905 says Chomo visited Aisha 2 times a day, and he did mufakata with her before she was 9. That's what I think. That's what some refer to as the thighing. The thighing, according to certain commentators. I'd rather wipe with a stone than bow down, kiss and worship a filthy rock. Leviticus 26. I'd rather wipe with a stone than bow down, kiss and worship a filthy rock. Yes, they do. That is Leviticus 26:1 is a warning against setting up a sacred stone. And it's just interesting because there is a religion that really is obsessed with a sacred stone. Uranus lesson. Yes, we have all the Uranus lessons. Uranus is being colonized by the people of the Black Rock. With dude, all right. So these guys keep on whining about the use of toilet paper. They then stop and don't propose the alternative. Tell them the solution. Rocks. It's pretty simple. Or if you're a fan of Demolition Man, they had the 3 seashells, but they never explained how that actually works. Yeah, I mean, it would have been good to hear from this man to the children. What is the proper way to wipe? Because I'm sure some of those young people are like, what? That's exactly what I do in school. And going to school, I wipe with paper. You're uncivilized. The black stone is one of 3 of Muhammad's TP stones. That's how it ended up as a black stone. Originally started off as white. True story, according to Islam, the black stones started off as white and then became black. Yeah. But they say that's because, you know, it's because of men's sins that turned it black. The black stone absorbs your sins, ladies and gentlemen. But they don't believe in pagan idols. No, not these guys. Muslims will make blue Navi wear hijab Islam equals copium. Do you know what this means? What is Navi wear?
I don't know.
Do you know anything?
No.
Do you know anything except making sweet rhymes?
No.
So Muslims didn't have problems getting toilet paper because of delivery difficulties while COVID. They just used the stones in their backyards. Yeah, they might have been like, hey, haha, look at these uncivilized guys. They can't get toilet paper at Walmart because there's no supply. But we use the stones. The stones, you see, our prophet prepared us for this. Good stuff, good stuff. Why does it seem that Muslims worldwide have more problems with the Jews than the Hindus? Aren't they supposed to hate Hindus because they're pagans? Hey, AP. What are your thoughts on this? So let me actually steel man this a little more. If you read the Muslim sources, Christians and Jews are called the people of the book. We're the people of the book. We are not to be executed if we reject Islam. We are allowed to continue believing in our own religions if we agree to pay the jizya, the tribute money, to acknowledge the superior status of Islam. Hindus, however, polytheists, other religions, they were given they were to be given, according to Islam. Muslim leaders didn't always do this, but according to Islam, you are supposed to be given the opportunity, convert or die. Convert or die. So AP, it would seem, based on what the Quran says, that Jews are much closer to Islam than Hindus. And yet, even though lots of problems in India and so on, and Pakistan and Bangladesh with the Hindus, there seems to be a much, much, much greater obsession with Jews than with Hindus. Does this make sense?
I have two reasons for that. One of those is regional, and the other is about how Islam, how this is actually quite just further evidence that Islam is very much based on Muhammad's own feelings. The reason number one would be that that Muslims around the world are not very much don't really interact with Hindus, except for those in India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, so those in the subcontinent, which is why Muslims around the world, the rest of them, don't have anything about Hindus that they have to think of, which is why they don't get very much involved in it. The local ones will have thoughts about the Hindus, but it will just be limited to that. You have Jews mentioned in the Islamic sources, while Hindus, of course, are not mentioned. You only have the polytheists, the mushrikeen, which refers specifically mostly to the pagan polytheists of pre-Islamic Mecca. However, I think there is a much bigger reason, and that is just further evidence that Islam very much relies on Muhammad's own feelings, which is that, yes, you would expect Islam to be more open and better toward Jews than toward monotheists or polytheists, but Muhammad himself, while initially approaching Jews peacefully and with the idea that they might just accept him as one of them or convert to Islam, he was at odds with them. He really didn't like them because he realized that he can't challenge them. They are much more knowledgeable than him. They mock him and so on, and he doesn't really know anything about what they actually believe in. So he started having a very, very big personal dispute with the Jews, including prophecies that you will kill them all, that they will be the worst ever to Muslims, and so on. So I would say that this whole personal gripe, this whole personal fight from Muhammad, together with the prophecies based on that personal fight, together with the fact that Jews continued existing and just would not disappear and just would not fully convert, just contributed to Jews being hated more around the world. And the fact that you have the prophecies that are found directly in the Sahih Hadiths, which say that in the end you will fight the Jews and kill them, and that it is mentioned in the Quran, and Muslims all around the world read these sources, of course, leads to the result that Jews are the most hated in the Muslim community. That's what I would say.
And I'll just add two things, although AP has already touched on them a bit. For the first about dozen or so years, 10 to 12 years, that Muhammad is preaching in Mecca, not around many Jews. But for some reason, the Jews were considered like authorities in the matters of religion. It's the only explanation for why you have all these passages. But you could just ask the Jews, just check with the Jews. The Jews confirm this. The Jews will confirm this. The Jews will confirm that I'm a prophet. The Jews know. The Jews are waiting for me. The Christians are waiting for me too. They all know it because it's in their books that there's a prophet who's going to come in Arabia, and they're all waiting for him, and so on. And so for the first 10 to 12 years that he's preaching, Jews will confirm him as a prophet, and then you'll see. All you who reject him, you'll see. Once we're around some Jews, then you're all going to see. And he tells his followers this, and they memorize these as revelations from God, that the Jews are going to confirm him as a prophet. Then they move to Medina, where there are 3 Jewish tribes, and the Jews almost laugh him out of the city. Ha ha, this guy is an idiot, thinks he's a prophet. Ha 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 ha.
They start asking market questions. Yeah.
But think about how Muhammad had to spin this. According to him, the Jews, they have it as clear as day. They know everything about Muhammad from their book. I mean, down to his name. It's, hey, there's going to be a guy. He's Muhammad. Here's his description. Here's exactly what he looks like. He's going to come out of Arabia. He's going to be the new prophet, blah, blah, blah. According to Muhammad, this is all right there in their book. And then they see him, and instead of accepting him, they reject him and spread lies, because the Jews are going, what are you talking about? This guy's not in our book. But wait a minute. Muhammad said, he is in your book. So who are we going to believe? So we know he's in your book because he says it and he's the prophet. You're saying he's not in your book. We don't speak Hebrew, so we can't look at your book, but we know you guys are lying. But what's that mean? Muslims would look at lots of like polytheists and so on and just say they're ignorant. The Jews were not ignorant. They were smart and knowledgeable, and they rejected him. What does that mean? It's not ignorance. It means they're deliberately being evil and deceptive. They're doing it on purpose, which means they're actually worse. They're actually worse in an important way. So there's that issue. And then of course, you have Muhammad progressively becoming more and more hostile to them, but they were just in a position to challenge him. Keep in mind, as long as Muhammad was talking to a bunch of ignorant pagans and saying, hey, here's my religion, and I'm prophesied in all these books, they didn't know any better, so he could say whatever he wanted. And then when he's actually around Jews who could say, where are you exactly in our book? Where is that? What chapter and verse, Muhammad? Chapter and verse. Then he had to view them as evil. And so that's why you have, and you did have it towards the end, even though it starts off with praising Jews and so on and praising Christians, it eventually became that Jews and the polytheists are the most vehement in hostility towards the true believers. And yep, so didn't like Jews very much. But and then I have to say, even though you get the Hindus eventually overpowered the Muslims in India. They're more powerful. But it's something, there's a different vibe with Jews in that the Jews are just like, they're just coming across as superior to us in every way. They keep outsmarting us. They keep doing everything better. So they overpower us and they keep outsmarting us and they can blow our balls off at will. And we can have and it's just a tiny bit of them. Like, think about this. If you're talking about India, you can at least say, well, we're just hopelessly outnumbered. We're hopelessly outnumbered. There are way, way, way more Hindus. Of course, we're in no position. If you're talking about right there in the Middle East, Jews are completely outnumbered. Jews are massively outnumbered, and they're massively outnumbered globally. And Muslims just feel completely powerless against them. And so it's basically a bunch of factors that all combine. No, you combine all these factors, and it makes Muslims really, really, really desperate to not lose against the Jews. And they can't take the loss. They can't do it. And yet they have to anyway.
Yet they have to take it. Where is it? Let me find it quickly.
Take the loss. What?
Right here.
Yep. Take the L. Take the L, Muslims. Take the L. It's for your own good. Do you realize, AP, that like half of the world's problems could be solved if Muslims could just take the L? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it.
Take
Guys,
it and move on.
There goes the conflict. Guys, if Muslims could take the L, Gaza would be a Mediterranean paradise right now. It would be a massive tourist attraction. People would love going there for the beaches and so on. But they can't take the L, so they'd rather destroy themselves if it helps them get some Jews along the way.
Why don't you just take the L?
If you run out of stones, there's always Quran pages. Yes, that is the view of some people.
That is true. That is true.
And that is what the devout Dawah guys do. They use the Quran. Because, I mean, think about the reasoning. Think about the reasoning. Why do we wipe with an odd number of stones? Because Allah is odd and he likes odd. So, okay, so the way Allah is, that has something to do. Allah likes odd, therefore you wipe yourself with odd. Well, Allah likes the Quran too, doesn't he? Just make sure you use an odd number of Quran pages or an odd number of verses or an odd number of chapters while you're wiping, and you'll be good. You'll be good.
It's perfect reasoning, man.
Eternal Vigilance says, wow, this is out there even for Dawah. I keep thinking about the stone scene and Islamicized me. So gross. It was pretty gross. Another proof Islam is from Satan. This is obviously calling evil good and good evil. God bless you for exposing Islam and making us laugh with your songs.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Thank you.
AP does make some dope songs. But yeah, guys, this serious issue is, it's related. It's all connected. It's all connected. I said it's like they have a superiority complex and an inferiority complex. They look around, they're like, why can't our countries compete? Why do we flee to Western nations and beg for help and beg them to support us financially when we're supposed to be controlling all these people and superior to them and so on? So they have all these issues. It's written in the Quran, Surah 3, verse 110, that Muslims are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind. It's written that Jews and Christians and polytheists are the worst of creatures. We're lower than dogs. It's Surah 98, verse 6. You're looking at this and just, as a Muslim, you're going, this is not the way the world is supposed to be right now. This is not the way the world is supposed to be. We're supposed to be in control. We're supposed to have all the science. We're supposed to have all the technology. We're supposed to be the best in every way. And yet, what do we got? What do we have here? And so you have to somehow rationalize this. You have to rationalize what you believe with the reality of the world. And the reality of the world is that you're not controlling anything, and you're getting worse and worse and worse, and your community is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So what do? It's like, oh, it's all part of God's plan for us to go and civilize these other nations because we are better. They don't even know how to wipe. They wipe with paper. We wipe with stones. With stones, I say, and an odd number. Did you know that they use some of them even use an even number of toilet paper sheets because they're not even counting. They don't even know how many sheets they're supposed to use.
Imagine being so stupid. Don't you know rocks is better than papers? It's better than papers. Rock is more solid. Paper is very, very weak.
Yes, rock beats scissors. But paper covers rock. That would be funny. We're like, oh, you think paper's better? You think rock's better than paper? Wrong. Paper covers rock. Booyah. Welcome to civilization, Bud Row.
Alhamdulillah.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. No, it's like, but I say this is connected because it's connected to the issue with Israel in that from an Islamic perspective, they're supposed to be massively dominating Jews. I mean, just massively, to the point where Jews are just running and hiding from them, hiding behind trees because of these guys. And yet Israel can literally blow their balls off at will. There's nothing these guys can do about it except get their balls blown off.
That's why they say the struggle is real.
Yeah. And so you're looking around at the world. This is not the way the world's supposed to be. And it's producing lots of resentment. And what's the result of it? It's lots of whining and, So this whining, they're uncivilized. We're here to civilize them. It's the same thing as protesting free Palestine. The world is just not lining up with what they believe it should be. And so it's resulting in endless whining. And you just wonder if they can ever get past it.
That sounds pretty racist.
Imagine going to a stoning of some poor lass and you pick up the poop rock. That could be a skit. That could be a skit. We're like three guys and we're all like, it's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail where they're gonna drown they want to drown the witch and stuff like this. She's a witch. But we'll be like gathered together. We're gonna stone her. We're gonna stone the adulteress. Pick up the rock. Stone the adulteress. And we all grab it and we're about to throw them. And someone goes, "Wait, those are my poop rocks." That would be a funny little. What are you doing with my poop rocks? Wait, these are the poop rocks.
Man.
Based Autistic says, just tuned in. Anyone brought up Nick Fuentes having gay sex with Destiny? Been telling bros for years he's deeper in the closet than Narnia. they hate conservatives because they have real faith and family. Feels good to be right. I have seen claims, because I just posted it as a joke with Andrew Tate. That Tate was, they were both saying that basically a man loving and respecting his wife is gay.
Yeah.
And they were both saying something like that. And I said, these guys are both deeply closeted homosexuals who call everyone else gay as a form of projection. But I mean, seriously, here's what's weird, especially with like the Fuentes crowd who's like, we want a white only nation, blah, 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 blah. Okay. If you wanted that, if you actually wanted that, the only possible way you would get it is if you had a lot of white families have a lot of white kids. And what are you doing? It's gay. It's gay. Families are gay. Marriage is gay. It's all gay. Okay. What planet are you living on? The one thing that could get you what you want, and you say it's gay. Okay, you got a problem here. So anyway, so I said something about these guys are both deeply closeted homosexuals. But then everyone starts posting that that Destiny gave him a BJ. There's no scenario where I'm actually going to like type in a search or something like that. The images get in your head and you can never get them out of your head, ladies and gentlemen. So it's best to just never, ever look at certain things so that it never gets seared into your brain. But
yeah,
I have seen people saying that there's video of one of them giving a BJ to the other or something like that. I don't know. I don't actually want to know, but
I saw that going around as well, and all I know about it is that Nick Fuentes made a post at some point saying, very specifically describing what he did not do to Destiny, and then he deleted the post.
Wait, so he deleted it? So he's like, look, under no circumstances did I pull my pants down. Or if it's the reverse or whatever, under no circumstances did I get down on my knees and slowly pull his drawers off. And then
I mean, I can censor it and read it, what he said. But,
I don't know, man. You see, this is why Islam is sent to civilize you. You have Destiny and Nick Fuentes.
So he said, I did not F Destiny. I did not C on Destiny. I didn't put my D anywhere near Destiny. I've never done anything weird with Destiny. And then he deleted it. And people
he deleted it? I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now that I think about it.
And people were like, this is a little bit specific, man. Like,
gropers of the world. This is your hero.
I don't know anything else about it. All I know is that apparently there were news that something was leaked, and then Destiny, instead of denying it, started joking about it. And Nick apparently got really angry, and his followers were like, "Ugh, brother, ugh." And I don't know anything else.
Oh man, oh boy. Wonder how be funny if Destiny's like, no guys, it wasn't Nick. It was Andrew Tate. Ha ha! Oh boy. Weird, wild times, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler says, we know Black Stone. What about we know Blackstone. What about the Brownstone? That would be the funny video. The Blackstone and the Brownstone. Oh boy. What about the Brownstone? Do Muslims like hard rocks or poop rocks more? I don't boy. The next Zuckernight, there's a clip of you floating around saying that you actually like Mike Winger and you're only joking about your dislike for him. Response, dude, do you have any idea how easy it is to fake stuff with AI right now? Grow up, man. No, it's your birthday. You get no free passes here. You're 7. You need to understand the world is a big place and there are lots of people who know how to make fake videos and stuff.
Boom.
It's funny. It's funny. Like the gropers are having to deal with, did Nick Fuentes give a BJ to Destiny? And I have to deal with, does David Wood actually secret friends with Mike Winger?
But hold on, I saw Mike Winger post best friends forever or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, because the dude is pure evil, and he likes to taunt me with his stuff, like.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Like, you can't stop me from posting that we're best friends.
I don't know. It seemed like it looks like there's something going on behind the scenes. Yeah.
We're mortal enemies. Always have been. Always will be. Anything that says otherwise is
sure
is CGI nonsense.
If you say so, yeah.
To be fair, Momo at that time could not give them chapter and verse because they had not been added yet. Came centuries later. Yeah, it would be hard to give chapter and verse.
That's a powerful objection.
Do the stones work like shells in Demolition? Someone else thought of Demolition Man. I think they posted this before I even mentioned Demolition Man. But yeah, it was a thing in it was a thing in Demolition Man that he's from the past and he's frozen. He gets woken up in the future, and they use 3 seashells to wipe themselves, but he doesn't know how they work. Telegraph says, how do you think they invented rockets? Wait, how do you think the invented rockets? What is the what? The who? Did you leave out a word like Jews or something like that? Or was it supposed to be they? What is this supposed to say, AP?
I think it's about Muslims. How do you think they invented rockets? How do you think they invented rockets? How do you think they invented? Pretty easy.
With the poop rocks. Wait until that guy finds out about a bidet. Yeah. So guys, the reason toilet paper is so popular is that it's cheap and it works. You still need showers and so on, but in addition to that, some people, more so in Europe, people use bidets, but people have those over here, and then people have the ones that you can sit on your toilet, and it's a little bidet. Some people use the disposable wet wipes and so on. Let me tell you what no one ever thinks is a good idea: using rocks and having a can of rocks to wipe yourself with.
Wrong.
Muslims eating the dogs.
Good idea. Yeah, the thing is, look, there's a. I can't believe we're talking about this, but there are advantages and disadvantages to toilet paper, and there are advantages and disadvantages to just using water and with the assistance of your hands. There is also a good combination of both, which is to use toilet paper and water. It's actually a very, very good. Very, very good way to do things.
Or just the disposable wipes.
Which is how bidets come in handy. So, yeah.
And guys, I just want to point out, whether you're using paper, a bidet, wet wipes, or anything else, leaves, pages of the Quran, whatever, it is all of it better than stones. Just saying that.
Wrong.
And if you disagree with me, I have to say, you're uncivilized.
Wrong.
You know you poop in the street, right? Pakistan, yeah. That is how things work in Pakistan. I don't want white-only state because Arab and Latin girls. This guy likes it.
Alhamdulillah. That's a powerful argument.
Mr. Borelli, slow down a bit. Use both hands. No, not like that. Oh, this is Nick Fuentes.
Mr. Borelli, slow down a minute. Use both hands. No, not like that. It feels like an ape is doing it. Mr. Borelli.
This is pretty disturbing stuff that's going on.
You're sick.
Why did the new atheists end up targeting Christianity despite them going viral after 9/11, the biggest Islamist terror attack? Target availability? It was just the perfect time because there was also this myth that Christians were about to start a theocracy in the U.S. and they were going to go around locking up all the atheists and so on. So this spread. People don't even remember this. The atheists were going around. George Bush is in power. He believes that God put him there, and then he's going to make a theocracy as soon as he gets into power. And so they combined that with 9/11. It's just, guys, this is what religion does. Religion will destroy the world. Religion will end science. And the only possible salvation...
Dare I say, David, that if George W. Bush gets elected, this will be the end of America.
Mm-hmm. It will be the end of American democracy. It will be a theocracy. So they were able... And seriously, guys, look, I mean, apart from Islam actually being dangerous, which anyone who's not an idiot could have seen. So there's no great triumph in knowledge for the new atheist. What do these guys get right? They're wrong in all their predictions. They used basic manipulation tactics. They're going to start a theocracy. Was anyone starting a theocracy? No. So what was that? That was trying to instill panic so they could portray themselves as the saviors of humanity. They got nothing right, and yet they were constantly portraying themselves as the champions of reason. And the basic manipulation tactic was, if you join our group, you're smart, and if you don't join our group, you're stupid. Don't be a religitard, join our group. And then we'll have reason rallies, and we'll all go and we'll pat ourselves on the back for being so smart. Yeah. What have you done what did you guys actually do for the world? Name something.
You're getting it all wrong. They were going to establish a theocracy, but the new atheists prevented it, which is why it didn't happen.
Hey, they should start using that. They should start going, okay, maybe all the stuff about, getting a scientific utopia and the world becoming better didn't work out. And yeah, maybe we paved the way for Islam and so on. But notice, you don't see a Christian theocracy, do you? Ha-ha! Why? You can thank us. So mission accomplished.
Alhamdulillah.
Oh, boy. My pop rocks taste of, "Ya Muslim, what have you done?" What do you think about the YouTube channel Nabi Asli?
Makes good stuff. I think he makes these cartoonish, these animations. Seems cool. Seems all right.
Let's see. Nabi
Asli. Nabi Asli.
That's the intro music.
We watched was that Nabi Asli? We watched a video one day where we started making videos in English. Was that channel or a different channel?
That was a different channel.
Okay, different channel. Yeah. Okay.
This guy makes
my brain is kind of fried right now.
The
cartoons. I've seen those little animations and so on. Yeah. Those are like computer generated, aren't they? They have like computer.
Yeah. He also included us in his cartoons, in his animations here and there.
We should. We need an animator, man.
No.
We need an animator, and we just say, "Hey, make a cartoon about this. Do it now. Have it by tomorrow. You will be destroyed." And then we have it by tomorrow. Do they use the same stones they throw at Shaitan? Yes, they use the same stones. They have to use the same stones for everything. So they have their poop wiping stones, and they use those to stone women and to stone Satan. And then they kiss it when they walk circles around the Kaaba. that would actually be funny if you're walking around the Kaaba and kissing is like, "No, well, you weren't looking. I used that as my poop stone. What are you doing?" Let's see. David, I've always wanted to thank you for your friendship to Nabil Qureshi. I've sought after God since I could walk. I am dying from a very rare illness. I suffer unimaginably most days. Nabil's love for Christ. Let's see.
Is there a follow-up?
Yeah, continues down here. Nabil's testimony, his love of Christ inspired me to push forward, to have hope. You are a big part of that. Thank you both for all you do. Yep. AP, see how the truth inspires people? Does it make them hopeless and miserable? What makes people hopeless and miserable? Atheism? Agnosticism? And
I'm
Islam.
sorry to hear that. Wonder what it is that. I wish you all the best, and would like to know more, actually.
Yes. Yeah, AP, keep an eye on the comments in case she, because I don't want her to have to keep posting super chats if she responds. But if you see a comment, let me know, and I'll check the comments. Let's see. Even out in the Australian bush, where paper wasn't available, we would use leaves or rags, not rocks. Huh? Imagine that. That's what happens when you're uncivilized. If you were civilized, you would have watched Crocodile Dundee more carefully and know that Mick Dundee uses a rock. If I have to choose between 1,000,000 rolls of toilet paper and a rock, I would choose the rock.
The cow.
Too bad, apes. You're not wiping tonight.
That is that's Norman Finkelstein. He when he wrote a letter to his neighbors who wouldn't be quiet, he started harassing them, and he said, "Too bad, apes, you're not sleeping tonight."
You're not wiping tonight. Let's see. The Hajj, rock and roll. That is the Hajj. Sexual assault capital of the world. If paper beats rock and scissors beats paper, should I start wiping my with scissors? Yeah, but rock breaks scissors. So you don't know what to wipe with ever. Understand? It's just a problem. It's one of life's great mysteries. When are you guys starting GoatCoin? Wait, GoatCoin? Is that going to be our own cryptocurrency, GoatCoin? That would be funny. And you could only use those. You could only use those on GoatHub, the home site of the special video with Nick Fuentes and Destiny. Imagine
it will be fine. It will be fine to start our own cryptocurrency, but apparently it's a very big deal.
Yeah.
No, unless you want to be a failure.
Imagine Dawah's on Cocoa Pebbles cereal instead of Fred Flintstone. Little Pebbles instead of Flintstone. And so instead of Fred Flintstone on the Cocoa Pebbles, it'll be Dawah guys.
And this is to remind you that you're always supposed to use rocks. When you eat your Cocoa Pebbles for breakfast, you know that this is what your rocks is supposed to look like after you're done wiping yourself, isn't it?
Greeks used ostraka. Look it up. I will not look it up. And GoatHub says, speaking of this crap topic, D. Wood, do you know of and or have seen someone use a Glock dookie in prison? What is that? Some things I don't want to look up. But no, I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. Perhaps that is regional.
Is that a poop reference or something? I'm wondering.
A Glock dookie. The thing is, it might.
Okay, I'm going to look it up on Urban Dictionary now.
Okay, look it up in Urban Dictionary and see what that refers to. Because it may be something that I am familiar with and I've heard about, but it might just be a different name.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now, and a Glock dookie is a weapon made in Cook County Jail, which is a whole bunch of nasty, all kinds of dirt, human excrement, put together in a bottle, which is used to rob people. What?
Used to rob people. Oh, if you put it in a bottle, like you could squirt it at someone, so...
Used in jail, contains all the nasty stuff that is put in a bottle. What? I've never heard of this. Okay. That's nasty.
Yeah, as far as robbing people, no. It sucks. This is before I was a Christian, but I did get someone to use a shampoo bottle to squirt urine all over someone in his cell twice. It wasn't random. It wasn't random. The guy was a jerk and a scumbag. I had the cell beside him. I didn't want to grab a cup of urine and toss it over there because then he could just toss it right at me. So I convinced the guy down the hall that when they let you out for a shower, go, and I gave him the shampoo bottle. I said, let's fill it up with pee and then go down there, squirt it in his face and so on. Yeah. So, but yeah, there was no robbery. And, I do have to say though, because the idea was putting pee in the bottle. And then I was talking to the dude after he did it. And I said, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, well, that wasn't all that was in that bottle. So I don't know what he was also including in that bottle.
Hey, this reminds me that I always thought that there should be a parody song about creating fake camel urine drinks, which some people did by peeing in bottles and selling them in Arabia. And there should be a parody song about that for that one Christina Aguilera song, "Genie in a Bottle." It's like, I am peeing in a bottle, something like that.
Yeah, gotta be
very good idea.
So no, Goat Hub. Yeah, people throw stuff on each other and use bottles to squirt stuff on each other and stuff like that. But there are much worse things. They would do this thing called stripper surprise, which has nothing to do with like a hot stripper. It's floor stripper. They would take some of that, mix it. They would mix it with a couple of other things like syrup for some reason. Anyway, they'd come up with a mixture, stick it in the microwave until it's boiling, and go throw it in someone's face, and like just flesh is melting off the person and so on. So yeah, they do pretty sick stuff, but not familiar with the Glock Dookie. All right, AP. Any final thoughts before we head out?
No.
Today was a bit shorter of a show, but I did not finish my video today, and I need to make sure I finish it tonight. So I'm happy to get an earlier start.
You're finished, boy.
You're finished.
Okay.
Just trying to think if there's anything else. I believe
I was looking out for comments by Marie Elena, but didn't get any update on that.
I believe I'm going to be live on IP's channel tomorrow. Are you going to be on there?
I believe I can fly. Yes, I'll be right there as well.
So you and me are going to be on Inspiring Philosophy's channel tomorrow evening. Is that correct?
Yes. I said yes.
I'm just checking I'm just trying to.
I already said yes.
Before we cut out, I'm trying to see, because there was something else this week on a different channel. And then on Thursday, I'll be with Tony Costa on his channel. So that's what we got coming up. And then me and AP will have something interspersed on those dates as well. So be recording a video tomorrow. So yeah, new video up on Tuesday. It'll be dope. This will be the ultimate response to the Jesus was a Muslim argument that we hear so much from Dawah clowns. This will be the one to share wherever you see them raising that stupid objection. Astra are shards of pottery. Greeks used them. Stones. No.
Yeah, Muslim.
Shards of pottery makes a bit more sense than stones.
No, it doesn't.
It does. But the Greeks used toilet paper. Stop lying. No. All right, everyone. No, more seriously, come on. The Greeks didn't wipe themselves with anything. That's why they're called Greeks. Anyway, catch y'all next time.
Inshallah.